Neelav, hello. Hello. Neelav, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Uh, Adrijay Pal,
Yes, sir.
Rima Das,
Yes, sir.
yeah, Rakesh Sharma,
Yes, sir.
yeah. Till yesterday we are done with depreciation part. Hmm. Today we are going to see these adjustment entries. Adjustment entries. What are adjustment entries? Adjustment entries are basically passed at the end of the year. Okay? To adjust the accounts. Sir, what are all the different adjustment entries? Say any prepaid expenses, recording prepaids, prepaid expenses, prepayments, pre-receipts also. Prepaids, pre-receipts in the sense, income received in advance. Ha. Income received in advance. Any proprietor's personal drawings. Goods in transit. Okay, all these entries. These are all adjustment entries. Outstanding expenses. Outstanding expenses. Prepaid expenses. Accrued income. Income received in advance. Income received in advance. These two can be divided into 4 categories. And then we have personal drawings, goods in transit, depreciation. Depreciation entry is also an adjustment entry because we charge depreciation at the end of the year. All these entries are to adjust the accounts before preparing the final financial statements. You pass these entries. Provision for bad debts. You are providing provision at the end of the year. Okay, all these are adjustment entries. Now let's see the entries. What are the different entries? What is the entry for outstanding expense? Hmm? Not plus, I'm asking the entry. Outstanding expense. Very good. Expense account debit to outstanding expense. Very good. Prepaid. Prepaid expense. No. Prepaid expense account debit to expense account. Why? What is the logic? Not debit balance, one of the logic, but I'll explain. Prepaid expense in the sense, suppose the annual rent is 12,000, 1,000 per month. Okay, you have paid 15,000. Okay, 15,000. You have made how many months extra payment? 3 months extra payment. Yes. So while making 15,000, you might have passed this entry. Yes or no? Rent account debit to rent account debit to cash or bank. Cash or bank. I'll take in a different page. Rent is equal to 12,000 per annum. Okay. Actual rent paid. How much? 15,000. So while rent payment, what is the entry? Rent account debit to cash or bank. This is the entry, yes or no? I'm explaining you the logic why prepaid expense has to be debited. This is the first entry for 15,000. Now at the year end, say for example, you might have paid this on 1st of April. Okay, 1st of April 2023. But at the year end, 31st March 2024, you have to pass this entry which is called prepaid rent account debit to rent account. How much? 3,000. Why? You have to reduce this rent account by 3,000. Rent is an expense account, yes or no? It goes to the P&L. In P&L, you have to book actually 12,000 only, because 12,000 is your annual rent expense. Yes. So you have to book actual expenditure only in the P&L. So you have to reduce 3,000. So rent is debit balance, you have to reduce by crediting the rent account. Understood? Prepaid rent is an asset. Okay? This prepaid rent gets carried forward to the next year. Understood? Next. Accrued income, what is the entry? Accrued income account debit to debtors. No, this is an income, debtors. How it is related to debtors? This is a different income. Say for example, accrued income is nothing but income earned but not received. Yes, very good. Accrued income account debit. Say for example, accrued interest. I am taking example as interest. Accrued interest account debit to interest account. With this accrued interest portion, you take this accrued interest also in the income account. Understanding? Interest is an income, yes or no? By creating this, interest income gets increased. Income received in advance, what is the entry? Income account debit to income received in advance. All these entries you can find in page number 67. Page number 67. Okay. Goods in transit. Goods in transit account debit to purchases account. Understood? Goods in transit, you are recognizing it as a different stock. You are reducing the purchases. Purchase is nothing but again goods account. Okay? Depreciation we have already seen. You know the depreciation entry, right? Depreciation account debit to any asset, to asset account. Provision for bad debts we will see in the next part. Okay? Goods distributed as free samples. Purchases, goods account gets reduced, yes or no? Goods account is nothing but purchases account. So credit purchase account. Free samples to public is advertisement. Free samples to employees is wages and salaries. Understood? You can see all these entries. If you have any doubt, you can ask me. These are all the adjustment entries which you pass normally at the end of the year before preparing financial statements. You are adjusting the items. What items? Ledger items. That's why these are called adjusting items. Any doubts from online students? Yeah? Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. No. You're telling cash account should be debited, credited. No, there is no cash inflow or outflow with this transaction. How? Tell me. See, suppose I have a, say, I am a book manufacturer. Okay, I'm a bookseller. My business is books, selling books. Yes. What I've done as a bonus, I have given one book to each of my employee. What is this? As a bonus, I have given, say for example, Bihu ka time hai. So as a bonus, I have given one book to each of my employee. Yes. So cash is not going out of my organization. From my godown, books are getting reduced. Yes or no? Stock is getting reduced. So indirectly, goods is nothing but purchases. Yes or no? Purchase, when you purchase goods, you debit the purchases account. Yes. Nothing but in your godown, stock is getting increased. Yes or no? That's why you have debited purchases account. Now stock is getting reduced. Yes or no? Stock is going out of my organization. As a bonus, I am giving books. So book in the godown, books gets reduced. So I am crediting the purchase account. Understood? There is no cash inflow or outflow. But what I am debiting here, expense. Which expense? Wages or salaries. So indirectly, instead of salary, I am giving books. Understanding? You call them as employee benefit expenses. You can name it as wages or salaries. Understood? Above that, see, goods distributed as free samples to public. Free samples. You might have seen some campaigns. Huh? Use this good freely. If you like, you can buy. If you don't like, you need not buy. This is some sort of advertisement. Huh? So from your godown, stock gets reduced. Yes, but stock account, you don't have any stock, you don't have any ledger account naming stock account. Understanding? You either have purchases account, sales account, yes or no? Goods, think of a trading account. Either goods are recorded in the debit side via purchases account, in the credit side via sales account. When goods is going out of the organization, you're recording sales. When goods are coming into the organization, you're recording via purchases. So it is better to debit or credit purchases, but not sales. You should not use sales. Sir, instead of crediting purchases, I'll use sales. No, you should not use, because sales is an income, direct income. Yes? If you write it as sales, what will happen? Income tax department will ask for the income tax. Sales department will ask for the sales tax, GST, everything. Because this is not actually sale. Okay? Understood? Any doubts from online students? Anyone? No? Then I'll continue. Next concept is bad debts, provision for bad debts. You can classify debtors into three types. Basically, when do you have this debtors account? Credit sales. I'm asking about the transaction. What you said is right. Debtors will be on the asset side of the balance sheet. That is right. But I'm asking when you will have this debtors account while selling some goods on credit. Yes or no? These debtors. After selling the goods on credit, the debtor has to make you the payment. Yes or no? Some debtors make payment on time. these are called good debtors. Yes, good debtors. Okay, some debtors are out, I mean payment is yet to come from them. They may pay or may not pay. This is doubtful. Okay, doubtful. They are, till now they have not paid us, they are doubtful. Okay, this is the second category, doubtful debts. Third category is bad debtors. Bad debtors, or you can call it as bad debts. Okay, note it down, bad debts. Three categories. Third category is bad debts. What is this bad debts? You know this debtor is not going to pay you for sure. Say for example, particular debtor has become insolvent, yes, bankrupt or insolvent. You cannot expect any payment from him, so such debts are called bad debts. Understood? So basically you can classify debtors into three types: good debtors, bad debtors, sorry, doubtful debts and bad debts. Okay? In case of good debtors, no action is required from your end. Yes, because they pay on time. Yeah. In case of bad debts, what will happen? You have to write it as a loss. Yes or no? You have made some sales on credit. This person is not going to pay you. Yes. At the last, you have to book this as a loss. Okay? Book this as a loss. लॉस क्या होगा नॉमिनल अकाउंट प्रिंसिपल के हिसाब से? डेबिट ऑल एक्सपेंसेस एंड लॉसेस. यस, सो पी एंड एल अकाउंट में डेबिट साइड जाएगा ये. अंडरस्टूड? बट डाउटफुल डेट्स, you don't know whether they will pay or they will not pay, so you will create a provision for them. What do you call this as? Provision. Provision for doubtful debts, or you can call provision for bad debts also. Okay, provision. Provision is nothing but you are setting some amount from the profit, you are setting aside. Okay, this is provision. What is the entry while creating provision? P&L account debit to provision for bad debts, doubtful debts, anything. Okay, this is the entry. P&L account debit, indirectly from the P&L you are taking some amount. You are debiting P&L like other similar expenses. Okay, this is provision account. It is having credit balance, it goes to the liability side of the balance sheet. Clear? Clear? 67. Yeah. Mutual setup between debtors and creditors. Yeah. Suppose you purchase some goods on credit. What is the entry? You purchase some goods on credit. What is the entry? You purchase some goods on credit. Credit purchases. Credit purchases. Very good. Purchases account debit to creditors. This is credit purchase. Huh? You sold some goods on credit. What is the entry? Sorry. Debtors account debit to sales. Yes. Say for example, this creditor is nothing but Mr. What's your name? Tanuja. Yeah, Tanuja. Miss Tanuja. Okay. This debtor is also Tanuja. Understood? Say for example, you have purchased 10,000. You have sold also 10,000. Normally what happens, you pay to the creditors, yes or no? So what will be the entry? Creditors account debit to cash or bank. You receive from these debtors, yes or no? Cash or bank account debit to debtors account. But in this case, both this debtor and creditor is the same person. Yes or no? So instead of paying and collecting, what you do? Creditors account debit to debtors. That is the entry. See there? Last entry, see the last entry. Creditors account is credit. This has to be 0 now. So I am debiting the creditors account to debtors is debit balance. This has to be 0 now. So I am crediting debtors account. This is called mutual set off. What is this called? Mutual setup. But it has to be identity. I mean the one-to-one mapping has to be. Yeah, both should be same. This debtor should be that creditor same. Because from the same person I can purchase, to the same person I can sell also. Yes or no? It is possible. Yeah? Wholesaler, retailer होगा. Wholesaler, retailer, consumer. हाँ नहीं both are same persons ना. डिफरेंट पर्सन्स होने से, हाँ डिफरेंट पर्सन होने से अगर कंसेंट देगा तो यू कैन राइट ऑफ, दैट इज ऑल्सो पॉसिबल. से फॉर एग्जाम्पल तनुजा, व्हाट्स योर नेम? Binita. The debtor is Binita. If both of you agree, I'll set off in my books. No issue. But if the same person, if it is the same person, you can directly set off. Understood? Ha. Now come to question number 18. Adrijia Pal, can you read the question? Question number 18, page number 69. Adrijia Pal, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
On,
Read this question.
sir. On 1st April 2021, the balance of provision for bad and doubtful debts was 13,000.
Okay, 1 second. Provision for bad and doubtful debts. This is the provision for bad debts account. Okay. What will this account balance has? I mean debit or credit? हाँ? क्रेडिट होगा. हमने पहले एंट्री किया देखा है, कहा है एंट्री? ये प्रोविजन फॉर बैड डेट्स कौन सा बैलेंस होगा? क्रेडिट होगा. क्रेडिट होगा तो क्रेडिट होगा, लेकिन ये ओपनिंग बैलेंस है क्लोजिंग बैलेंस है? 1st अप्रैल ओपनिंग होगा, तो ओपनिंग क्रेडिट बैलेंस कैसे डिनोट करेगा? बाई बैलेंस ब्रॉट डाउन. व्हाट इज द बैलेंस? 13,000. वेरी गुड. नेक्स्ट.
The bad debts during the year 2021 to 22 were now 9,500.
9,500 बैड डेट्स दिया था. बैड डेट्स अकाउंट. बैड डेट्स इज एन लॉस, यस और नो? लॉस कौन सा बैलेंस होगा? हाँ, डेबिट बैलेंस होगा. तो ये ड्यूरिंग द ईयर लॉस बोला है, तो ओपनिंग बैलेंस मुझे पता नहीं. ड्यूरिंग द ईयर लॉस कितना आया था बैड डेट्स का? हाँ, एंट्री क्या होगा? टू डेटर्स होगा. यस और नो? बैड डेट्स अकाउंट डेबिट टू डेटर्स अकाउंट. ठीक है, आई एम डायरेक्टली पोस्टिंग इन द लेजर अकाउंट. हाँ, नेक्स्ट.
The sundry debtors as on 31st March 2022 stood at 3,25,000.
Sundry debtors as on 31st March 2022. This is opening or closing? Closing, very good. Debtors is debit balance, yes or no? So opening debit is to balance brought down. Closing balance is by balance carried down. How much amount? 3
3
lakh
lakh 28,000.
25,000. हाँ, okay.
Out of this, debtors of 2,500 are bad and cannot be realized.
तो ये क्लोजिंग नहीं होगा फिर, इससे फिर वो होना चाहिए 2500 और रिड्यूस हो जाएगा, फिर ये क्लोजिंग नहीं होगा फिर, ठीक है। 2500 ये कैनॉट रियलाइज है, समझ गया? तो ड्यूर टू डेटर्स अगेन, हाउ मच? 2500, ठीक है। इससे 2500 माइनस करो, इससे 32,500 ना, 2500 माइनस 3,25,000, 22,500 ना, ओके। 3,22,500 होगा क्लोजिंग बैलेंस। ओके, नेक्स्ट।
The provision for bad and doubtful debts is to be raised 5% on sundry debtors.
हाँ, प्रोविजन क्या होगा? 5% होना चाहिए, ओके। Provision is always calculated on closing value of the debtors balance, okay। Closing value of debtors balance कितना है? 322,500। 322,500 में 5% कितना है देखो? 322,500 में प्रोविजन 5% कितना है देखो?
16,125.
16,125। सो क्लोजिंग बैलेंस कितना होगा? 16,125। Understood? Understood? This is the closing provision balance. This is the opening provision balance. This is the closing. कैसे आया था सर? सर 5% on closing debtors. Closing balance of debtors. 5% on closing debtors. 5% on which? Closing balance actually 3,25,000 है, लेकिन इसमें से 2,500 बैड डेट्स मैंने reduce नहीं किया, yes or no? Because they have clearly mentioned in the question 3,25,000 is the debtors balance on 31st March, but out of these debtors 2,500 is bad, clearली बोला है, yes or no? So 3,25,000 से ये 2,500 निकालना पड़ेगा, तो 3,25,000 इधर तुम ओपनिंग ले सकते हैं, 2,500 होगा, क्लोजिंग कितना होगा? 322,500 होगा। फॉलोइंग मी? टू बैलेंस ब्रॉट डाउन, no other data is available in the question, so I am taking this as opening balance। 2,500 during the year bad debts हो गया, yes। 322,500 होगा, 322,500 पे 5% जो है 16,125 क्लोजिंग प्रोविजन होगा, yes or no? सर व्हाट हैपेंस टू दिस बैड डेट्स? टोटल कितना है? ये टोटल कितना है देखो? 12, 11 प्लस ये 1, 12,000 होगा ना, ये बैलेंस होगा, yes or no? दिस गोज टू प्रोविजन अकाउंट, टू प्रोविजन फॉर बैड डेट्स। कितना है ये? 12,000। Bad debts account is normally is a loss account, yes or no? This has to go to P&L account, but when you are maintaining provision account, you have to transfer this bad debts to provision for bad debts account instead of P&L. Sir, why? I'll explain you. See here, because you are creating provision from P&L account. Understanding? You are creating provision for bad debts from P&L account. So bad debts you should not transfer directly to P&L. Instead of transferring directly to P&L, you have to transfer it to provision account, because provision has been created from P&L account. Understanding na? Any doubt here? Any doubt regarding this point?
No, sir.
Very good. Clear? Now 12,000 you transfer it to provision for bad debts. What will be the entry? Provision for bad debts account debit to bad debts account. Yes. So provision for bad debts account में to bad debts account. How much? 12,000. Yes or no? Entry form करो provision for bad debts account debit to bad debts account. तो ये प्रोविजन फॉर बैड डेट्स अकाउंट में क्रेडिट, ये बैड डेट्स में क्रेडिट हुआ है, प्रोविजन फॉर बैड डेट्स में डेबिट होगा. अंडरस्टैंडिंग ना? क्लियर? नाउ बैलेंस दिस प्रोविजन फॉर बैड डेट्स अकाउंट. टेल मी द बैलेंस. हाउ मच इज द बैलेंस? बैलेंस दिस प्रोविजन फॉर बैड डेट्स अकाउंट. डेबिट इज मोर और क्रेडिट इज मोर? डेबिट इज मोर. टोटल कितना है डेबिट का टोटल?
28,125.
Very good. 28,125. सेम टोटल क्रेडिट में लेके जाओ. 28,125. बैलेंस कितना है देखो. 28,125 माइनस 30.
15,125.
15,125. This is nothing but by P&L account. Sir, what is this? This is the provision created during the year. Okay, this is the provision created during the year. Once again I am explaining this provision for bad debts account. See here, opening balance is 13,000. Okay, opening balance is 13,000. During the year I have created how much provision? 15,000. Total comes to 28,125. Out of the provision I have created 12,000 has been written off in the name of bad debts. Balance कितना बचेगा? 16,125. This is carried forward to the next year. ये अमाउंट कैसे आ गया? 5% on closing debtors. Closing debtors कैसे है? Debtors में opening balance minus ये. सर opening balance ये नहीं है ना, closing है ना? हाँ closing है, but before some adjustment. ये 2,500 reduce नहीं किया था क्वेश्चन में, तो मैंने reduce कर दिया 2,500. This will be the closing balance. 5% होगा प्रोविजन. बैड डेट्स अकाउंट क्या होगा सर? बैड डेट्स इज एन एक्सपेंस, सॉरी बैड डेट्स इज अ लॉस. यू हैव टू ट्रांसफर इट, आइडियली यू हैव टू ट्रांसफर इट टू P&L अकाउंट, बट व्हेन यू आर हैविंग ए प्रोविजन फॉर बैड डेट्स अकाउंट you should not transfer the bad debts to P&L, you have to transfer it to provision for bad debts account. Clear? Clear? And I'll take a pause. If you have any doubts in this question, you can ask me. What they're asking us to do? Read.
You are required to pass necessary adjustment entries for bad debts and its provision on 31st March 2022.
They're asking to pass the adjustment entries. Adjustment entries when they are passing, sir? 31st March 2022, which is nothing but the last working day of the financial year. Generally, adjustment entries are passed in the last month. Okay. So, what are the adjustment entries? These are all the ledger postings. Now, I'll frame the journal entries one by one. See here. What is the first entry? Bad debts account debit to sundry debtors account. This is the entry. Bad debts account debit to sundry debtors. Understood? This is mentioned in the question. Next, provision for bad debts account debit to bad debts account, 12,000. This total, what is the total? 12,000, na? This one. Provision for bad debts account debit to bad debts account. This is the second entry. I'm talking only the adjustment entries. This is the first adjustment entry, second adjustment entry. Clear? Third, P&L account debit to provision for bad debts account, 15,125. Understood? Bad debts का total balance 12,000 है, इसका एक adjustment entry. Debtors से कितना reduce किया था, वो एक adjustment entry. Because, yes, because on 31st March you come to know that certain debtor might be bankrupt. Yes or no? So he got the information that this 2,500 worth of debtor is going to be bankrupt. Sorry, he is already bankrupt. So that's why he said that this amount is not going to be realized. So you have to recognize it as a loss. Yes? So this one and then this P and L one part. 3 adjustment entries. Okay. See the next. What is the second question they are asking?
Prepare the necessary ledger accounts.
These are all the ledger accounts. Bad debts, debtors, bad debts, and provision for bad debts. You can see the ledger accounts there. Okay. Third one.
Show the relevant items in the profit and loss account and balance sheet.
हाँ, पी एंड एल इधर कहाँ इफेक्ट हुआ है देख लो. इसमें कुछ पी एंड एल का एंट्री है क्या? नहीं. इसमें कुछ पी एंड एल का एंट्री है क्या? नहीं. इसमें है क्या? है 15,000. इसको एंट्री में डाल दो. पी एंड एल अकाउंट डेबिट टू प्रोविजन फॉर बैड डेट्स. यस और नो? तो पी एंड एल अकाउंट डेबिट हुआ है तो पी एंड एल अकाउंट डेबिट होगा. तो देख लेना एंट्री के ये पी एंड एल अकाउंट क्या होगा. पी एंड एल अकाउंट डेबिट साइड जो है उसमें लिख दो. ये एक्चुअली कौन सा फॉर्मेट दिया था? ये एक्चुअली डेबिट साइड होगा ना, टू प्रोविजन फॉर बैड डेट्स. कितना अमाउंट होगा? 15,125. ठीक है. दिस इज द पी एंड एल एक्सट्रैक्ट. नाउ बैलेंस शीट एक्सट्रैक्ट. Assets, sorry, liabilities, assets. Liabilities, assets. Now in this ledger accounts, do you have any asset or liability account? In these 3 ledger accounts. Debtors is an asset, very good. What is the liability? Provision for bad debts is the liability. So how will you show in the balance sheet? See here. Debtors account debit. What is the debtors closing balance? Tell me. I am taking in a different page. Balance sheet, liabilities, assets. Debtors balance कितना है?
3,25,000.
22,500, not 25. This is the closing balance. Yes or no? In the balance sheet only the closing balance will appear. Next, less provision for bad debts.
16,125.
Closing provision कितना है? 16,125. बैलेंस कितना होगा? नेट अमाउंट कितना होगा? 30,6,375. This is the balance sheet extract. Instead of this, I mean in asset side provision for bad debts, you can write here also provision for bad debts 16,125. Instead of writing here, you can write here also, because this is a liability. You can write here, but appropriate presentation is that you have to reduce from the debtors, because this provision is relating to this asset. Understanding? Understanding? This is the balance sheet extract. That is the P and L extract. Okay. Any doubts in this sum? I'll take a pause. If you have any doubts, you can ask me. Any doubts? P and L account. That is actually the what they have given there. That is the 15,125 na? 15,125. 16,125 plus 12,000 comes to 28,125 minus 13,000. This is the balance ना. ये जो प्रोविजन फॉर बैड डेट्स अकाउंट है उसका समरी है वो. ठीक है. इंस्टेड ऑफ दैट यू कैन डायरेक्टली राइट प्रोविजन फॉर बैड डेट्स. डायरेक्टली ऐसे लिख सकते हैं, बिकॉज यू हैव ऑलरेडी शोन दैट अकाउंट ना. प्रोविजन फॉर बैड डेट्स अकाउंट ऑलरेडी आपने शो कर दिया है, तो फिर इधर समरी देने का जरूरत नहीं है. आप डायरेक्टली पीएनएल में ऐसे लिख सकते हैं. ठीक है. पीएनएल डेबिट साइड टू प्रोविजन फॉर बैड डेट्स, ये नीचे में दे सकता है. रिफर लेजर अकाउंट, रिफर प्रोविजन फॉर बैड डेट्स अकाउंट. समझ गए? ब्रैकेट में मैंने लिख दिया रिफर प्रोविजन फॉर बैड डेट्स अकाउंट. क्लियर? If you don't have any doubts in this sum, I'll go to next sum. Question number 19. Question number 19, page number 72. Sorry, ये जो बड़ा क्वेश्चन है कौन सा, ये बड़ा क्वेश्चन 18th। हाँ आएगा। आपको जो पैटर्न दिया था, मैंने पैटर्न दिया नहीं ना, पैटर्न मैंने दिखाया नहीं है। ओके, you can get up to 12 marks sum also, 12 marks, 12 marks का सम आ सकता है। ओके ठीक है, मैं पैटर्न कल बताऊंगा एक बार, then you will be clear. You will receive this sum normally in the optional, you have a choice ना, चॉइस क्वेश्चंस में आ जाएगा आपको। 12 मार्क्स तो ये आसानी है सम, तो डिफरेंट लेजर अकाउंट्स ही है ना, आपको एंट्रीज पता है तो पोस्टिंग्स करेगा तो हो जाएगा। ठीक है, इन द बुक इट लुक्स लाइक बिग, बट देखो मैंने एक पेज में लिख दिया मैंने एक पेज में लिख दिया ना। ठीक है, ड्यूअल एंट्री ना, इधर एक एंट्री होगा इधर एक एंट्री होगा, सेम सेम ही तो एंट्री है। ठीक है, क्वेश्चन नंबर 19, पेज नंबर 72, and Neelav, read this sum.
Sir,
हाँ,
a company maintains its provision for bad debts at 5%.
provision for bad debts, how much?
5%.
5%. Okay,
And a provision for discount on debtors is 2%.
okay, provision for discount on debtors,
2%.
2%. First I'll explain what is the difference. What is this bad debts? You know this bad debts, okay? Whenever some person is not repaying you, yes, he has, I have sold some goods on credit, he has to pay me back, he is not paying me, this is called bad debts, yes or no? But some debtors, they pay you early, yes or no? Say for example, I have a, see, I sold one debtor on credit, okay? Credit sales to X, Mr. X, कितना है? 1 lakh rupees, okay? 1 lakh rupees. Credit sales to Mr. X 1 lakh rupees, okay? Entry क्या होगा? Very good. X account debit to sales account, how much? 1 lakh. Okay, this is the first entry. Clear till now? Say for example, I have given him the credit period. What is this credit period? Say for example, I sold the goods on 1st of January. Okay, I have given the credit of 30 days. Yes or no? Yes or no? So he has to pay me within what date? 30th of January. Huh? Also in my credit terms, I have mentioned that if you pay within 10 days, I'll give 10% discount. What is my credit terms? If you have to pay me within 30 days, but if you pay me within 10 days, I'll give you 10% discount. Understanding? Suppose if he pays me within 10th of January 2024, I have to give him how much discount? Tell me in amount. 10,000. Yes? So then what is the net amount I am going to receive from this X? 90,000. Sir, what will be the entry now? Cash or bank? Cash account debit, discount account debit, very good. discount allowed. This is called discount allowed. Discount allowed account debit 10,000. Cash account debit 90,000 to X account 1 lakh. Very good. You are very good at journal. Very good. 1 lakh. समझ गया? This discount allowed is an expense. Yes or no? It goes to the P&L account. Yes, this is an expense. Do you agree with me? This is an expense as per nominal account principle, debit all expenses and losses. Yes. This expense account goes to P&L account. Yes. Yes. So, similar to bad debts is a loss, discount allowed is an expense. Yes. Yes. So similar to bad debts, you will also create provision for this discount allowed account. Understanding? So that provision and this provision both are same. Understanding? Both are same. You understood the difference, right? Bad debts is nothing but unrecovered debtors. Discount allowed is not for the prompt payment of debtors. You are going to allow some discount. Okay? So you create provision for this also based on the past experience. You know that this particular debtor will pay me early. This particular debtor will not pay for sure. You know this. You generally assume some percentage. Okay? Based on that percentage, you will take this. This sum I'll continue tomorrow. Okay? Okay? Sir is already here. I'll continue this sum tomorrow.